back in the 70s, and I guess they still do it now, but back in the 70s, if you couldn't read well enough, they just pushed you along. You know, okay, just keep moving along. And I just, went out in the world and I said, look, guys, I can't read and write as well. Okay, we'll work with you, no problem. Even working on tractor trailers, when they were simple, mechanical, instead of electronic like everything is now, everything's computerized and stuff, I could fix them. I could fix cars because my memory, my brain works in mysterious ways. I can't understand it, nobody really realizes, but I can pick up certain things, and other things I just struggle with all day long. The biggest problem is I've had people trying to help me to read, and they've never had the material. All they use is, books like that, where this is structured at a point where I can understand a lot of things by going back over it. I've been 2 years at the Literacy Council, and I have, got my firefighter 1 and 2, and I do have a pump operator certificates, 3 of them, and I'll never, ever be able to thank her enough for what she does, and the council for what they've done.
Mm-hmm. This is like another world to open up.
Well, 52 years not being able to read more than a 3rd grade level. I'm 54 now, and I read newspapers, I read novels, I read things that people wouldn't, people take for granted a lot of times.
So I do have a full-time outside of tutoring, and I've found that when you have just a limited amount of time to give, a limited amount of money to give, you want to make sure that it's as impactful as it could possibly be, that your time is spent on something that's going to be long-lasting. And I think that's why I ended up choosing the Cape Fear Literacy Council to spend my volunteer time, because it's something that will leave a lasting effect on people, next week, next month, in 10 years from now. You can't unlearn how to read. You can't unlearn how to balance your checkbook. And I think that makes the time spent, whatever little time you have, it makes it all much more worthwhile than, sitting at home on the couch.
I came here because of the cause of literacy. I've always had a strong belief in education. Both my parents were teachers, and I've grown up with the foundation that the most important thing in your life is your education and getting a degree. Because the more educated you are, the better you are as a citizen, and the better you help your community. So coming to the Literacy Council was a big decision of mine because I wanted to help other people achieve that.
The community is crying out for services like this. When you look at the unemployment rate and you look at the dropout rates, you look at the crime rates, I believe there's a direct relation to education, and a person's confidence in what they can do, and having the support, not just one-on-one individual support, but having the support of a team. When you can walk into a place, be yourself, and feel comfortable, and also confident in knowing that you can build upon your weaknesses to create a better future for yourself and your family.
Okay, so what we fondly call the red brick building is a red brick and concrete block building just across the parking lot from this main building, which we call the bright blue building, so that everybody can see where we are. That building came to us through purchase about 3 years ago. It used to be a landscape office, and therefore it was set up with some offices on one end and a giant warehouse on the other end, in pretty much disrepair. It's an old building that has not had a lot of attention for a lot of years.
When I found out that we had students that were being tutored at picnic tables and in cars, and actually in this red brick building in the unheated space when it was 34 degrees. Then I decided the building committee was going to take on another task. You know, we have the space, but we're not trying to complete the space so we can grow. We've already grown beyond our current needs. We have, again, with the students finding space and the tutors trying to find space, and we even have our staff who will schedule their breaks or their lunches or their meetings so they're out of town so their office can be used for tutoring as well.
The building is about 2,100 square feet. Of that, about 1,400 is that warehouse in the back. That's an unheated, uninsulated warehouse with nothing special about it. And that's 70% more instructional space than we've had.
I had already told Linda that I was going to have to scale back. She's our executive director, and that I may have to take a break for a year or two or more, just to be able to handle my own personal commitments in my work world. And as I walk outside, I'm just talking to Linda, and I look up. We have a leak and our wood's rotten. How long has this wood been rotten? We need to get that replaced. And then I'm looking on the side of the building, and I see that we've got a problem with, you know, again, part of the roof is kind of hanging over. And I look out in the parking lot, and I see a student. And she didn't have a ride to come that day. She had been walking, and she was coming through the woods. When I saw that and I looked back at the building, I didn't look at it as a challenge anymore. I looked at it as something that was an achievement, an accomplishment. Because if that lady can commit to get there for the services that she's looking for, that we have to offer, then we are going to be able to provide a space for her to come. And that really was probably the last time I complained about how little time I had.
We do not consider the Literacy Council a charity case. We're not out there begging for money. We're not saying, oh, please hand us some money. We're an investment in the community. So we're asking people, and we can do that proudly and legitimately say, please invest in the work that we're doing, because then you are investing in an individual who has an effect on his or her family. That affects the business, that affects the economic development of this community and just the very fabric of our neighborhoods. When somebody can read, they are more likely to get engaged in all the community has to offer. That's cultural, that's recreational, that's educational, that's civic, that's voting, that's the whole shebang. And so we're not asking for somebody to just be kind and give us money. We're asking for people to make us the investment that will be a return on their quality of life here in the community.